be perfectly honest with you, all three of these teams, are pretty similar to us. And we got to really play good in order to in order to be successful against these guys. So we don't necessarily have any kind of real breaking action of sorts for whether or not we got a chance to win or lose these next couple games. We got our work cut out for us. So we need to practice and do a good job of preparing for these guys, because if not, then then these guys will beat us. Norfolk's coming in here, and they played at Savannah. I think Savannah's really starting to play good. They played at Savannah and drove the ball early down the field a couple times on Savannah. One time they fumbled it, running back fumbled it down, in the red zone, and the next time they come right back and throw a pick in their own red zone. And I think at that point, they kind of got behind the eight ball a little bit, didn't play very well, and then Savannah got a couple scores, but you could see the possibility of them being in that game all the way to the end if they don't necessarily have those bad plays early in the game.
How would you describe the A&T game to a Bulldog fan who didn't get to check on any of it and saw the score?
Heartbreaking. And I don't know if it was as heartbreaking if it was disappointing. We had our opportunities again. It's like the whole season. Besides those games early in the year, you got a chance to win all these games, and that's that's no consolation of sorts. For a program such as ours, there is no such thing as as close being anything other than just you lost a football game. So there are no consolation matches in this particular deal. We've dropped down to a point now where we got to really fight to have any kind of a decent year.
What would you say, looking back now, you've had a little time to look back at it, what made the main difference? When y'all put points on the board, what made the main difference?
Yeah, we didn't. We weren't consistent in the end. After we got ahead, we had opportunities with the ball to maybe make it a 2-score game. We need to make that 2-score game. They scored on a short field deal. We had the ball deep down in our own territory. They punted us deep. We had it coming, were getting out, got a first down, and got a sack and a fumble. Recovered the fumble that was close to our goal at that point. Then we ended up just punting the ball out. Didn't punt the ball particularly well. Didn't kick the ball particularly well at all. We've had some issues here recently with our kickers. They hadn't performed quite as well as they had early in the year. And those guys are both pretty quality guys. And you just sometimes it's like golf or something of that nature. When you're dealing with a kicker, they kind of get off the tracks a little bit, but they get the ball back and they get it down close and they get it in. And on third down, they end up hitting the fade ball. Our guys, trying to not. We got guys that we had 2 plays in that drive where they just kind of outplayed us for the football. We had guys draped all over the receiver, and we just didn't make a play. And they got that score, and then because we probably tried to do a little bit too much there, trying to get the ball back down the field, because we got about 3 or 4 minutes to go in the game, and we tried to do a 2-minute deal, trying to get the ball on the field, and receiver ran a little bit of a funky route, and we overthrew the ball too, and we ended up throwing a pick for a score for them to go up by 2 scores. But it was a game that we had our shot, and it was one of those kind of games where I think it might have been even more disappointing. We were behind. The game starts in a way where it looks like they're gonna blow us out. I mean, it's 10-0 before we get off the bus, and we had shown the sign to stop it. We finally get them slowed down up, but they kick the field goal. But then we drive it down the field and score. Got a couple big plays from LA on some naked run stuff. And we get it down the field and get it in. They get it right back down the field and score again. I mean, they missed a PAT in that somewhere. We missed a PAT. We done missed a double PAT. We go the whole season, I missed a PAT. 2 games in a row, we missed one. But then from there, then we stopped. Our defense you could see it almost as if it was, you know, you could understand that they finally understood what they were trying to do to them, and I knew we could stop them.
Mhm.
And from that point, in the I guess maybe the first part of the second quarter, maybe some after that play, you know, they couldn't do a thing to our defense. We just stopped them cold.
Mhm.
And from that point all the way into the fourth quarter, and they didn't hardly get a first down. Cohen had 40 some yards in the first quarter. He ended up having 40 some yards at half. He ended up having 40 some yards at the end of the game. You know, we stopped them pretty much completely. Now they hit us on they hit him on a pass or two,
Mhm.
and you know the big term in college football now is RPOs, one pass off stuff. They hit us on a couple of those deals to get him a couple of yards that way. But as far as the actual rushing yards concerned, you know, he's probably rushed for maybe 150, 175 yards in 3 years, in the 4 years against us. So we get him stopped, which was one of our big goals, but at the same time, we just didn't do quite enough during the time that we had him stopped offensively to put enough distance between us. That team was gonna score some, and we probably need to score another couple offensive touchdowns in order to kind of get them completely out of their game. But as long as they can continue to mix it up and play action and that kind of stuff, then it was, you know, somewhat of a tough team to stop. And eventually they got a score and got it in. But at the second half, offensively, they scored that one touchdown.
Mhm.
And it was on a short field deal. If it hadn't been for the pick for a 6, it would have been pretty much a 4-point game.
Mhm. Does it add consolation or frustration the fact that you lose two close ones like this?
I think it adds frustration.
Mhm.
In our case, it's a frustrating deal, and you know we've had to actually check ourselves, you know, for the whole process from that point on, because we've been really down the dumps, and it's been a tough deal.
Mhm.
So yeah, we've been as frustrated as you possibly can be under these circumstances, and we need to be better at it than what we are, but we're not. So you know that's where we're at.
Is that part of the, I guess, give and take with having a young team, because they can bounce back real quick, but then again, it's tough, it brings them down, the fact that they can't get those close wins.
That's got a lot to do with it being a young team. We're gonna have senior day in a couple of days. We're gonna probably have like about 10 guys,
Mhm.
and some of those guys aren't really playing all that much.
Mhm.
We're gonna have about 10 guys that are gonna be leaving. This entire team's, you know, 1s and 2s, a little bit of 3s. I mean, this is a doggone young football team, really doggone young. So it's been interesting to see, you know, them kind of, you know, maneuver through some of the ups and downs of what we've gone through this year. And you know, I'd like better for them. You know, the one thing I feel a little bit responsible for is you put them into, you know, we probably put them into too many uneven kinds of situations, given the status of where our program was at this time. I look back on the whole thing as probably, you know, not the best of fits for what we actually put into.
Mhm. Yeah, a more experienced, older team might be able to handle things a little bit better.
Oh, for sure. For sure, yeah.